Good morning, everybody. I am Shelby Davis, part of the nursing capstone at Polk State, summer 2018. And I wanted to show you my table of contents. We're going to go over my professional portfolio. This is going to demonstrate my resume, personal philosophy, nursing theorists that I found most influential, reflections from the capstone paper compared to previous, sample work, certificates of completion, and how I feel like the BSN education has helped me, what my 5-year professional plan looks like. So first we're going to go to the resume. There we go. So this is what my resume looks like. As you can see, it's current to today's experience. I have down that I already have graduated. Of course, that'll happen here in about a couple of weeks. I recently left a career at Lakeland Regional on the cardiac floor to go to home health hospice. So this is geared towards me wanting to build a future in leadership management. And I want to show you the leadership part down here. All right, so we have contributes to the professional development of students and colleagues. So that's kind of like always being there for them, asking if they need help, giving them kind of guidance as to what I would do if it was my patient or my practice. And demonstrates leadership qualities that influence team members to maximize their potential and promotes an environment of peer accountability. So always being responsible for those actions, that total care of the patient. So I want to go over my personal philosophy with you. This one and the nursing theorist that I found most influential was part of a another course that I had to take. I just kind of gathered these excerpts from those papers. So it kind of goes over my values and beliefs as a registered nurse, or basically that those patient-nurse relationships are what's most important. Building that rapport allows us to gather that patient divulgence, gather the patient divulgence information from them, and basically patients should care for themselves as much as humanly possible. You want to help educate and teach them how to care for themselves so that they depend less and less on the nurse. Jean Watson was my most influential person. She points out that while medications and science are significant therapeutic factors, they're not always the most important in the healing and health process. A lot of times it's these relationships that we build with these patients. From there, I want to show you some of my career goals. So this is a previous paper that I've had from another course. Previously, I had talked about, let me see. Oops, go up a little. Right here. Talks about obtaining my master's degree, getting a job at a nurse practitioner with a cardiologist's office. Now, some of the barriers that I found to obtaining some of those goals were going to end up being marriage. I'm getting married at the end of the year. I want to add a new addition to the family, and of course cost, because we know school is not always cheap. So that compared to my current career goals, this is the part from my capstone reflection this semester. At the end right here, it talks about now that I currently want to get a master's in leadership. I feel like the bachelor's program has helped me, has impacted my future practice because it's given me leadership and advocacy skills. I'm now better equipped to collaborate with the multidisciplinary team, manage disputes, and advocate for patients, obviously. So as far as leadership and advocacy, I feel like I've gained those attributes because of the opportunities that the program has given us. So right here is an excerpt from my leadership class that I did. It talks about my weaknesses. It talks about my weaknesses and strengths. So I found that, which is still current, my strength is being able to be a mentor and guidance for novice nurses. And weaknesses for me would be learning to integrate others' viewpoints into my own workflow. So like a policy change, things like that, different ways of performing the same action, which I'll definitely have to work on. And in order to do this, my plan for this was to seek out others who have different ways of performing tasks and try to integrate that into my workflow. And I wanted to right here become a more flexible and personable leader. As far as advocacy, volunteering during the program, we did a lot of that. Right here, I want to show you my health flyer that I did at the LVIM. I got the opportunity to educate patients, collaborate with nurse practitioner, and talk to some of her patients that she felt like would benefit from this teaching. So this is my flyer I did for that. Recently, my last experience was, one of my last experiences was my advocacy shadowing experience. I got to shadow a nurse educator to a professional practice council meeting. And this was very beneficial because it just showed me how much goes into the actual process of advocating for our patients. So that was very interesting to be able to see. I feel like that helped me for the future. In addition to the advocacy, we also had to do an activity log for this semester. So for that, most of my activity log for this semester goes over how I did a lot of research and accomplished the Plan, Do, Study Act assignment for this semester. Met with the charge nurse, identified an issue that she was having on the floor, interviewed staff, shadowed staff, discussed it with patients, got their input, did my own literature review, and basically came back to the floor with some interventions that I wanted to implement and try. Overall, the assignment went really well, and I feel like that was a good experience for me too. So in order to do that project, we had to take a couple of courses. Up here you can see this is QI 101 from the Institute for Healthcare Improvement. All of these you're going to notice have different contact hours, but basically these modules just helped students to understand how to advocate for patients while keeping them safe at the same time when implementing any type of study. So there's 5 of those. And there's also one for protecting human research participants. So that was very beneficial. I can definitely use those in the future. The study assignment itself, I won't bore you with all the details, but I wanted to go over my reflection on the process. So I would recommend repeating this assignment in the future because it gave me confidence to feel like I can advocate for patients to find solutions for them. While creating and implementing the project, I learned how much work goes into applying evidence-based research into actual practice. As you can see, I estimated I roughly spent 40+ hours working on this assignment. It was very lengthy, but definitely beneficial. And last but not least, I wanted to go over with you my complete kind of reflection summary of the BSN education. I put down, prior to starting the BSN program, I did not really want to continue my education, as it was merely another task I had to accomplish for work purposes. I had preconceived thoughts that the BSN was useless and would not change my practice as a bedside nurse. I was wrong. As I complete my BSN, I reflect on how my perspective has changed. I now value the education that I have received because it makes me feel confident I can be a productive team collaborator and advocate for patients and staff. I now feel like I've obtained attributes that allow me to extinguish problems, control outcomes. I no longer feel like a novice when it comes to giving culturally competent care. And the program has given me, like we talked about, countless shadowing and observation opportunities, allowing me to see many various sides of nursing that I would otherwise not have seen. Basically, instead of task-driven care as a new nurse, I now strive to provide holistic, unbiased care to all patients. And for my practice in the future, my 5-year plan would be to return to school, obtain my master's, probably in the same time frame as I'm working on my master's. I want to become part of some of these professional nursing councils or nursing governance. I want to speak up for those of us who needs those process changes, not only for nurses, but for patients themselves too. And then ultimately, I want to obtain that nursing management position. So basically, this is my electronic portfolio in a nutshell. Like I said, some of my sample work, personal philosophies. I really have enjoyed the BSN program more than I thought I would have. And it definitely has helped gear me towards better practices in the future. I hope you enjoyed this video and let me know what you think. Thank you.